Hey everyone, and welcome to another mathematics lesson where I'm going to show you guys analytic geometry and trigonometry for straight lines. And the three equations we're going to be covering for equations of a line are going to be standard form, general form, and then point slope form. So let's get right into it. After one of the equations, we're after the other. So let's start with standard form of an equation of a line. And this equation is y equals mx plus b. If you've seen previous videos, I've used this several times, but let's actually get into the nitty-gritty of this. So the equation of a line can be represented in several forms. The procedure for finding the equation depends on the form chosen to represent the line. In general, the procedure involves substituting one or more known points on the line into the equation in order to determine minimum the constants. So we have a point xy, a slope m, and the b is y-intercept. So let's work on an example, and let's be asked, what is the slope of y minus x equals 5? So it's kind of in this form, but we have to make sure we rearrange it into properly getting in this new arrangement. So simply we're just going to add that x to the right, so we get y equals 5 plus x. Now we just need to rearrange the right side of the equation to being y equals x plus 5. And now this is in standard form, where 5 would be the y-intercept of the variable b. And then we have m, which there's an imaginary 1 in front of the x. Just because it's not shown doesn't mean it's not there. So that means our slope for this equation is 1. Now let's get into general form of the equation of a line. And this is ax plus by plus c equals 0. So then again, let's work on an example, because I think having an example is the best way to understand how this works. So we're going to be given only two things of information, the x-intercept and y-intercept. The x-intercept being 4 and the y-intercept being -6. For starters, let's try to rearrange it in the form of the standard form, and then we're going to rearrange that into the general form by simply getting everything on one side and having that equal to 0. So we know what the b value is, which is the y-intercept, and that's -6. There's no variable with y, so we just see that we have to only solve for the slope. And we can actually do this because we're given the x and y intercepts in the two coordinates. Where if I draw a diagram, one on the x-intercept is 4, 0, and then the y-intercept is 0, -6. So in a previous video I showed you guys how to find the slope with with 2 points, and it's done here, where it's going to be eventually calculated to be 3/2. So now I'm going to simply plug and chug into these values, and I can go a little further by multiplying 2 to each value to reduce that fraction. So I'll get 3x minus 2y minus 12, which is the general form of this equation for this example. And lastly, let's work on point slope form of the equation. And this equation is going to be y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. The point slope form of the equation of a line. So this equation defines the line in terms of its slope, m, and one known point. So let's work on an example. So we're going to be given a circle with a radius of 5, and this is going to be at the center of the origin. So if we're going to be asked to find what is the standard form of the equation of the line tangent to this circle at the point 3, 4. So let me work on modeling this up, where we have a radius of 5, and on this point 3, 4, we're going to have the line tangent to the radius, or tangent to the circle. So let's start with some of the information that we are given and we're aware of. So in the problem statement, we're going to be told that the origin is 0, 0. We have another point of 3, 4. And first of all, let's try to see what we're trying to find, and that's the standard form of the equation. So we're going to be knowing we're going to need to know the slope and the slope perpendicular. And we're going to be able to find the slope perpendicular to the tangent line because we know 2 points, which is 0, 0 and 3, 4. you technically don't need to do the equation because one of the origins is 0, 0. So you basically rise and run. You go up 4 and you go to the right 3. So that's basically the slope. And then to get the slope tangent to that, you're going to do -1 over that slope. And that's basically going to become -3 over 4 to find out what the m value is. Now we have the m value. We also know what y1 or x1 and y1 are. So we can utilize the point slope form. But now we're going to plug every value in. -4 or -4, the slope x minus 3. And we're going to further reduce this to get into standard form. So for starters, I'm going to add 4 to the right. I'm going to multiply this 3 out by doing, that's how I got the 9. And then I'm going to add the 4 over. And then one step further, where I'm going to get y equals -3 over 4x, I'm going to combine these two, 9 over 4 plus 4. And 4 is technically just 16 over 4 in fraction form, so that's how I got 25 over 4. So even though this includes fractions, this is the furthest you can rearrange this equation, and this is the standard form. So I hope you guys enjoyed.